Hello and welcome. It's another beautiful day in the life of the soul. You are listening to Mindfulness versus Awareness, Chapter 3 in the audiobook, Peacefully Parenting Through Prana, Heart-Centered Solutions for Families. I'm author Amy Williams. From my heart to yours, on behalf of the entire world, thank you for investing in yourself and your family. We all rise together. Now we are going to build on our understanding of expansion and contraction by more thoroughly defining mindfulness and awareness. In our previous exercise, we felt the flip-flop from expansion to contraction, like the light switch of our heart center being turned on and off. I asked you to spend time throughout your day developing your awareness by observing which experiences in your routine make it easy to feel expansion and which ones trigger contraction reactions. If you chose to keep a list of some of these moments, now would be a good time to have it for reference. If you kept a running mental list or simply observed without cataloging, that's okay too. The words mindfulness and awareness are often used interchangeably. However, I'm going to share it with you the way I understand it from how it was shared with me, because it has been such a help in unraveling my inner world and making sense of knowing when feelings and thoughts are truly my own or belonging to the environment around me. Being aware is recognizing through observation the energies that are outside of you which you encounter. Being mindful is recognizing through observation which energies are coming from within you and making a conscious decision about how to respond to them. To overly simplify, aware means knowing what is outside of you, and mindful means knowing what is inside of you, and therefore yours to respond to. Let's do a simple exercise to help you develop a sense of what is yours and what is not. Take a moment to check in with yourself, asking how you are feeling. Bring attention to your thoughts, where you feel your emotions, and any tension in the body. Now that you have a baseline to observe from, you're going to ask your heart center a question so you can feel an energetic response. Let this experience be whatever it is. Do not try to control it. Some of you will feel a significant difference, while others may only feel it slightly or not at all. That is okay. We are all at different levels of sensitivity. As you continue to connect more deeply with your heart center, your sensitivity will also increase. It can help to close your eyes. Just ask one time and bring attention to the physical, mental, emotional, and energetic response you receive. Sit with this feeling for only a moment. Ready? Now focus on your heart center. Close your eyes and simply ask, do these feelings belong to me or to someone else? After a moment, you may observe there are thoughts and feelings which have lessened and no longer seem as pressing. This exercise works for two reasons. The first is that by asking the question, we shift out of our solar plexus chakra, where a great deal of stress energy is stored, and into our will center, or our ajna chakra. The second is that by making this shift with a question to your heart, you activate the heart chakra into expansion, which has a natural balancing and soothing effect on the lower energy centers, such as the solar plexus chakra. The third is that by expanding the heart, we get a release or elevation of loving energy through our entire energy field, which can transmute and lessen or remove energies which are not so deeply anchored into our energy field. Those energies which are new and therefore not belonging to us. Of course, as we learned at the beginning of this book, when we activate the heart chakra, the crown chakra follows suit, and the benefits include mental clarity and inner peace. This is a way to develop awareness for what is outside of you and triggering a contraction reaction cycle. What you are still experiencing after this exercise gives you more clarity on what is coming from or attached within you. What is left is where we bring in our mindfulness. If being mindful is knowing what is within us, what is self-generated or simply unreleased, then mindfulness is a willful and disciplined act of self-reinforcing and self-regulating what is within us. If that feels a bit taxing, scary, or overwhelming, or you feel you've already done this and it didn't work, stick with me. I'm going to simplify it. In mindfulness traditions, many teach to sit and try to clear the mind until you reach a point of nothingness. This is one way. In my experience and what I've learned through my years of spiritual practice, it's also a slow way. As a parent, for me, it's an improbable way, as hours of silent reflection are impractical for an uncertain outcome. In short, the path of a monk on a mountaintop is unrealistic for a modern day parent. That is why I'm here to teach you what I know works. Once you have spent time observing when you are in expansion and when you are contracting, then you know when your heart crown connection is activated and when it is not. Take a moment. This is a very important sentence. Logically, we've established that an activated heart crown connection is the optimal state for human being and parenting, as it uplifts and helps regulate us mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically. It makes sense then that as we develop an understanding of when we are in expansion and contraction, activation or not, we are applying this activation process to help us with living in mindfulness and awareness. If mindfulness is consciously reinforcing what is inside of ourselves, such as choosing expansion and actively releasing programming that triggers our contraction reaction cycles that cause us to lessen our heart-centered connection, then awareness is knowing when the energy we encounter is not actually our own to deal with. When we develop awareness, we also develop compassion for what we're feeling others around us need, without sponging it up and treating it as if it's our own. This single shift into understanding that we can be affected by energy that does not belong to us, and we can learn to identify those moments and release these energies, will be a very deep level of relief for some parents who did not realize how much the energy of their family and environment may be contributing to their dis-ease or contraction reaction cycle, which lessens the activation of their heart crown connection and ability to show up to each situation as the parent they truly desire to be. At this point, you're getting a feel for what it means to experience the expansion of the heart crown connection within you, while developing a sense of awareness for what is outside of you and triggering contraction reaction cycles. You are starting to understand that mindfulness means consciously choosing to reinforce or energetically feed what you want to see grow within you and reprogram what is inside that says you need to contract in order to be safe. And we are learning that activating the heart crown connection helps us achieve all of this. Let's take it from conceptual to practical. Whether you have recognized that your outer world is highly triggering contraction reaction cycles within you, or you've observed that despite the conditions of your environment, your triggers come from within. Activating the heart crown connection shifts us from a state of contraction into expansion, no matter what initial factor set off those subconscious programs telling us we are not safe to be open and experiencing the love of our own heart center. Now let's practice activating the heart crown connection expansion with I love you. Take a moment to tap back into yourself and what you are experiencing in this moment. You may close your eyes to bring your mind deeper into yourself for this practice. You can continue with this practice for as long as feels comfortable. With your attention on your heart center, simply say, I love you. Even if you do not feel the genuine expression of these words as you say them, that's okay. Keep practicing. I love you. It only shows us how much more these words are needed. I love you. If a wound is bleeding through a bandage, we don't say, oh well, it didn't work. We keep tending the wound until it is stable and healed. For many of us, it feels uncomfortable to say, I love you, to ourselves, because we never have. This act of saying, I love you, not only activates the heart crown connection, it also reprograms our subconscious that whatever we are experiencing, what we deserve is love. We simultaneously firm our own will that in all moments we choose love. This is consciously, actively choosing expansion and reprogramming our contraction reaction cycles into heart-centered expansion response patterns. We will continue to learn more about this in upcoming chapters. There is no benefit to rushing your experience with this activity. You are learning to control the activation of your heart chakra, just as we learn to finally control our physical muscles as they contract and expand. You cannot go into a gym for the first time and bench press 400 pounds. You'll hurt yourself if you're able to even move the weights at all. Your muscles have not been built up and actively taught how to handle that. Likewise, for most of us, our lives have taught us to weaken our hearts by keeping them tightly shut, unless the stars have aligned to bring us a perfect moment in which we feel completely safe to love, or we have been moved to a deeper compassion for another. When we say "I love you" to our hearts, it is a way to mindfully lift those energetic and spiritual weights so we become stronger and activation becomes more natural. The first step is not only realizing that you can tap into the power and divine blessing of your natural heart-centered state, but actually taking the steps and making the conscious, willful choice to do so. What we are re-educating our hearts to know is that we are always safe to love, and that truly loving, radiating loving prana from our hearts makes us more safe, not only energetically, but on all levels. Why are we more safe? We can think more clearly, and our emotions are more balanced, so we make better decisions. Our physiological responses are what makes our bodies healthy, and these become the building blocks to creating and experiencing our lives. Imagine parenting from a space where you feel stable. You can make the decisions you need, even if they are hard ones, and your body isn't freaking out while you do it. That feels a lot safer to me. That feeling safer creates a revolving door of heart-centered activation and more free-flowing love prana. As you move through your days, continue to observe when you feel contraction and expansion to develop awareness by asking, do these feelings belong to me or someone else? And to mindfully tend to your heart center with "I love you" to activate the heart-crown connection. I want to take a moment to walk you through this practice a little bit more deeply. Close your eyes and focus on your heart in the center of your chest. Just breathe naturally and begin to observe what you are feeling. With your focus still on your heart center, simply say, "I love you." And we're going to keep repeating that, just becoming more and more aware of what rises up as we do this. I love you. I love you. I love you. You can even be silly. I love you. You can be very stern, very dynamic. I love you. Have fun with it and play with it. That's why we're doing this. This is you building your relationship with your heart so that you can work with it to make every part of parenting more full of love and empowering you. So just keep saying it. I love you. I love you. I love you. Do it for as long as you can make time for, a few minutes. You don't have to spend hours doing this, although it will feel amazing if you do. Just take a few moments. Set a timer for 30 seconds if you need to. Create a goal of saying it 10 times a day and just see what happens. We're going to take this practice a lot deeper in a future chapter, and it's going to get so useful and practical. You're going to be so happy that you have this foundation of taking the time to do it now. I hope you enjoyed this chapter of Peacefully Parenting Through Prana. heart-centered solutions for families. I encourage you to integrate and practice these life-changing heart activations between chapters to help you unleash your parenting potential and become an energy ally in your family. All of my books are available on Amazon, and you can follow me on social media for more heart-centered wisdom and prana practices. Social media is the best way to learn about my offerings and interact with me. May you have a blessed day and go in peace.